Okay, folks, this is big. We're talking the opioid addiction crisis in the DMV and the country. It's off the charts. In the past 4 months alone, Anne Arundel County has had 354 overdoses. 35 of those people have died. Now county leaders have decided to go in a completely new direction. Might be some opposition to this. I don't know. Anne Arundel County has turned every single firehouse into a safe house, a safe place for drug addicts to come and ask for help.
They can come in here any hour of the day or night, ring the bell, and we'll start the process to help them get the help that they need.
We're making it easier to take the first step. The first step, they say, is the hardest.
WUSA 9's Scott Broom has been covering this story all day long. And Scott, you brought it to my attention earlier this afternoon. I just think it's a great idea, and it begs the question, why isn't every firehouse doing this? I mean, what were your impressions when you found out about this program?
Well, they got this idea from Manchester, New Hampshire, and adopted it here, but it's new around the country. They're the first in Maryland to adopt this, and it's a remarkable program because they've essentially moved the front line of the opiate crisis here in Anne Arundel County, Maryland, from police officers on patrol to the men and women of that firehouse across the street, all of whom are also trained EMTs. And that is true of every firehouse here in the Anne Arundel County as well as the city of Annapolis. Here's the idea. You've got an opiate problem. You decide you want to do something about it. But it is so difficult to navigate insurance, or perhaps you're broke and can't get it done, or you have to deal with a probation officer or an employer, whatever. It is a huge crisis to get yourself into treatment. It's really hard to do. So they've thrown the doors open to every firehouse in the county, and if you've got the desire to act and you need to do it now, you just walk in the door. They'll give you a medical assessment. If they need to treat you for overdose, they'll do it on the spot. But more importantly, they give you a safe place to wait while they get a crisis intervention team that's been functioning here in the county for years. They get those licensed clinical social workers here, and they begin to work with people. They've had 4 people come in since they announced this last week on Facebook, and they've had 4 people come in, and all 4 of those people are now in residential treatment centers. I talked to an addict out here on the street who said she got clean about 1.5 years ago. She said it took her 3 months to do the same thing, and frankly, she said most of her friends go back to using in that period of time. So this is sort of a remarkable effort. We'll see how it works out.
Scott, is there some concern that a lot of people won't believe this? I mean, for the longest time, this has been considered a criminal matter. And by the way, I'm sure police are going to be glad that they've got now time freed up to, chase some serious criminals. But are there some people out there, are they concerned that, they might not be willing to come in because they don't trust the system?
Well, think of what the leadership in the county is doing. The police chief himself has said, look, we're not going to be involved in this. There's going to be no crime, no police involvement, except in cases where we need to come up and pick up drugs and dispose of them that have been turned in. But they're not going to, no criminal charges, no police involved. It's the firefighters involved. So I talked to this recovering addict I met out here on the street, and I said, would you trust him? If it was you 1.5 years ago, would you go in there? And she goes, these are guys that run into burning buildings and bring people back to life every day as EMT. She said, you bet I would trust them. And that's part of the strategy here. These are neighborhood centers. People are much more familiar with their local firehouse usually than their local police precinct, and there are a lot more firehouses around. It's a lot more accessible, and the people who work inside are viewed as lifesavers, not law enforcement officers. So that's part of the entire strategy here, is to gain confidence in people.
Yeah, Scott Broom reporting. Great job, Scott. Really appreciate it. And firefighters are our local heroes all the time. So it's good that they're willing to step up and help us out also in this crisis.